Welcome to Voter Education Forum of the Prince George's County League of Women Voters. Standing before you today are members of the League of Women Voters of Prince George's County. I think you ought to give them a round of applause for putting together voter education forums to educate the voters of Prince George's County on significant issues. Welcome to Voter Education Forum of the Prince George's County League of Women Voters. This is segment 3 of our panel discussion, and this segment is dedicated for community input, community participation. We have invited organizations in Prince George's County, community organizations, civic organizations, as well as individuals, to present written statements and read them into the record. Our first speaker will be Ms. Cavett. Each speaker will please identify yourself and the organization that you represent. Let's give her a hand.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah Cavett, and I'm here representing the Indian Head Highway Area Action Council. It is an organization that is predominantly in the South County 210 corridor. I'm here speaking on their behalf. They have voted to oppose Question J, and they urge everyone to vote against it for the following reasons. Number one, there have been 3 main reasons cited that we should support Question J. One of them was that since metropolitan Washington jurisdictions do not have term limits, Prince George's County leaders are at a disadvantage when working in regional organizations. This is a solution in search of a problem. Leadership positions in the various municipal and metropolitan jurisdictions all rotate, which means that our leaderships are not put at a disadvantage. And further, term limits apply, as several of the panelists have said, the term limits apply to the president, to many states, to many other jurisdictions. The second reason cited is the Prince George's County Review Commission said that it is in the interest of democracy and voter empowerment to move away from term limits and recommends adding a 3rd term as an intermediate step. This is actually anti-democratic. If there was a viable 2-party system in Prince George's County, people might have a real choice. Since there is not a 2-party system, there is almost no competition. Since term limits passed in 1992, no county executive or county council member has lost re-election. Many have run unopposed. Those with challengers have mostly won in landslides. Further, the longer politicians remain in office, the more they become beholden to and captive of special interests, developers, financial backers, slates, and slate makers. This is Prince George's County. The 3rd claim is the learning curve. They say that the learning curve is steep and newly elected leaders need up to 4 years to have to learn their jobs so that they can effectively represent their constituents. Candidates for county executive, county council ought to have significant experience as citizen activists before running for those offices. With that background, the learning curve should be shallow. If a newly elected leader has not learned his or her job within a year's time, they are intellectually lazy, or maybe they really shouldn't be holding that office. Thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity.
Our next speaker will be Matthew Falk. Welcome and thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to thank the League of Women Voters for this great informative town hall event. I am Matthew Falk, National President of Federally Employed Women's Legal and Education Fund. And as you know, we support your organization very much. I am also an area lifelong resident and a Democratic write-in candidate for the senator in Maryland District 25. Few legal and education fund supports passage of Question J. Democracy is a failed-safe system as such. If there are politicians who are not delivering, then we have every opportunity to vote them out using the ballot. That opportunity is always available to the people. On the flip side, there are elected officials who are performing and delivering for the people, then they should not term out. And I support Question J for that reason. Certainly such greats as the Honorable late past County Executive Wayne Curry, who did so much for the county, is an excellent example of someone whom would have benefited from Question J. In summary, the people always have the opportunity to vote a non-performer out of office, and the passage of this will give the people the opportunity to keep producers who are performing well. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I think for this particular opportunity for Question J, it's just a simple matter of the people have a right to make the decision on who they want to remain in office. I don't see a problem with a third term. Again, if we got somebody there that's really doing what we need them to do, that's really making an example, then we need to support that person. Again, it's the people's right, and the people can simply just say, we're going to vote them out, we can get together, make certain that doesn't happen, that person doesn't stay in there, but they're doing a great job, and that's why I use Wayne Curry, because Curry did so much for this county, and I think that for that reason, we should give them an opportunity to have a third term. Thank you very much.
I worked very hard during the previous times when term limits was put on the ballot as an issue. We thought then that we were intelligent enough to make the decision on who we wanted to have in office and how long. I believe today we're just as intelligent. I believe very strongly that the voters of Prince George's County has stated their position. One time it was by a very slim margin, and the last time it was by a very large majority. We have not digressed. This county has moved from being the ugly county to being one of the richest counties in the nation. And we did not keep people in office. We moved them through the term limit process, and they delivered. I believe we will still deliver. Do I believe that it's an inside road or inside game? I don't play those. I say very clearly that it's very self-serving. I have not been clear yet, and I'm not sure I will ever get clear, on whether those persons who are currently in office wish to stay in office with the whole term limit idea and concept. I can say from myself, I believe if we did put in such a thing, everybody in office it would not apply to and should not apply to. As a mayor in the great city of Mount Rainier, we do not have term limits. It's not because we haven't asked to not have them, but we don't get paid $100,000 plus. We get a stipend of less than $6,000 a year, and that's before taxes. And trust me, folks don't fall over to come get those jobs. As $100,000 plus a year, I wouldn't want to give my job up either. The whole idea of having it, and I can't see that. Please tell me what she's saying, the number. How much time?
You're fine.
Okay. Lost my train of thought because I saw the paper. But as a volunteer, I work for my city. I don't work for Melinda. I don't need to get my pension from the city or from the county. That's not the kind of job you volunteered for. As an elected official, you volunteered to represent the people, not special interests, but those people who put you in office. So I urge you, I encourage you, I beg you, vote no on Question J.
Our next speaker is Mr. Fred Price, who's coming to the podium. Mr. Price, are you speaking as an individual or as a member of the Republican Central Committee?
I'm speaking as an individual, but I am a member of the Republican Central Committee. You already have our position in there. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. My name is Fred Price, Jr. I heard the voice of the Lord when he asked, whom shall we send? Whom will go for us? And I said, here I am, Lord, send me to the Republican Party. I've heard all these criticisms of the Republican Party as tea drinkers that don't support liberal causes in our community. Well, I was tired of that, so I went to the Republican Party, and on November 4th, you will have an opportunity to start a bipartisan conversation in Prince George's County. I want to say I'm very pleased to have today to come out from San Jose, California, and I'd ask you to stand up. My sister, Gussie Price, is sitting back there. Would you say hi? She came all the way because our parents used to tell us, I used to ask my mama, I'm from Beloit, Wisconsin, and this is probably the first time you met anybody like me from Wisconsin. I would ask the mama, why are you always going to these meetings? She says, because we need to have somebody at every meeting where they're talking about our lives and conditions and our conditions in our community. And so we went. Stop sheet, is that the sign?
It says stop.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Did you get a chance to read your statement?
No, ma'am.
Go ahead and read, Mr. Price.
When I came to Prince George's County, we were under the commissioner system of government. I was fortunate enough to study under Bob Bender and others who wrote the charter. I believe that power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Jim Estep, David Harrington, and Wayne Curry found a way to contribute after serving in office, and they moved the county forward. Others either move up or down from county to state, or as our present county exec, from the state to county. You have been educating yourself this morning. You have a choice on November 4th. Please participate in our government, and thank you for your time and consideration.
Good morning, all. My name is Joe Gaskins, and I'm president of the Prince George County Contractors Association, and I'm also the chairman of the Biz Center, a business incubator located in Suitland, Maryland, that provides services to small businesses. We have over 50 businesses who are receiving direct services. We have made loans over $1.5 million to small business people. Then we provide technical assistance. But today I come in opposition to question J, and this is why. For 3 years in a row, because our organization opposed legislation that would impact small and minority business people, we have basically been blacklisted by one of the council members from Council District 7. Now, normally you would say, well, vote them out. But even with a campaign to get that person unseated, it's impossible. I was recently told by individuals in the county, well, why should this woman do this? Well, it was in opposition to the labor's agenda, special interests, which allowed her to put herself in that position to constantly get funding, extremely a lot of funding, to be a formidable opponent to a candidate or any other candidate that would run against her. So it's almost impossible. For over 25 years, the incumbent has won in Prince George County. And for that particular reason, I would not at all support that. I would not have a membership to support it, and we will vigorously fight it to the end. Now, I was also told this week as well, is that, Joe, you know, the Biz Center, you guys apply for grant funding through HUD. Don't expect to get any funding through the county. It's not going to happen. Now, whenever your county elected officials have that kind of power and capacity, they do not need to be given any special privileges. And additional terms is a special privilege. And for that reason, we are not in support. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sorry.
My name is Bruce Branch, and I rise today on behalf of many who do not have a voice. The Maryland Business Clergy, an organization of more than 100 businesses and churches throughout Prince George's County. I rise on behalf of the more than 50 organizations of 2 terms no more. And I rise on behalf of, as a candidate who Joe spoke of, who was crushed by the political system despite the fact that there was overwhelming disfavor with my opponent, who raised more than $100,000, most of it from people who did not live in Prince George's County. I urge you today to vote no. No, because these county officials have raised their own salaries at a time when we're $57 million in debt. Vote no. We should vote no until the school system improves. We should vote no until change comes and our young people have summer jobs. We should vote no until political bosses who do not live in Prince George's County get their butts out of Prince George's County and get out of our business. Finally, I want to end with a little story which is appropriate, and it sticks with me all the time. When I was a little boy in South Carolina, my grandfather, he was a farmer, and he was a pastor in a church. And each year he would go to this conference, and he would just wanted a voice. He just wanted to be heard. But finally, after 15 years of this, of not being heard, of not having no real meaningful voice in the community, he took his shotgun and he went to the community where he served and this conference. And when he got there, this time he rose to spoke, but he fired that shotgun in the air. And he said it was a warning shot. And he told, when he rose to spoke, he said, I've walked up here this last 3 miles for 10 years, and this is my last pair of shoes. And no longer will I sit down and not be counted. That's where we are as voters in Prince George's County. Look at us. There are no young people here. This is our last pair of shoes. This is a warning shot. We need everybody involved in the political process. Apathy reigns, and when apathy reigns, and when, I see the 30 seconds, and when good men don't stand up, evil men prosper. And so today I stand as one in direct opposition to question J. If we could not choose they said that we could not choose our own school board, then we should be able to choose our own leaders. And today I say, vote no, because not only is it the right thing to do, we shouldn't do the political thing, we should do the right thing. God bless you.
Thank you for inviting us. So the Camp Springs Civic Association opposes the proposal to amend Prince George's County's charter to extend term limits of the county council and the county executive from 2 to 3 consecutive terms. With all due respect to the current administration, the Camp Springs Civic Association does not believe that it is in the best interests of the democracy of the citizens of Prince George's County to extend the terms. Voter participation is pathetically low, and citizens need not take for granted that the person in office should remain in office. There's too great a risk for complacency among both the electorate and the incumbent when there's no change. And there's the potential for the incumbent to become incentivized more by lobbyists rather than serving the needs of the constituents. Our democracy needs to continue to allow opportunity for all citizens, and they need not to be discouraged by politicians who want to retire in office. The most apparent example of incumbents putting their interests before the needs of the county is when the current administration voted in favor of a raise with the knowledge that the county is in a $59 million deficit. Thank you for this opportunity.
My name is Melody Sproul, and a lot of you may know me and some may not, but I'm a new member of the Women's League, and I'm very proud to be here. I'm going to try to make this very quick. I'm a mother of 2 sons. I would like for them to have the same opportunities as the incumbents that are sitting at their seats now. the percentage of the incumbents winning is overwhelming. Right now, they won by 100%. That is not an accident. It is not an accident. It's not a fluke. It's planned. Term limits break power special interest, period. It breaks special interest. The fact that I hear well, he's gone. I heard one of the panel members say something about experience. The fact that you are putting experience ahead of fresh and new ideas, I find ridiculous. Also, some statistics show that the longer someone stays in office, they become self-interest and less public service, period. That's true. And this is my last thing, and I know people, Jerron and I, we argue all the time. So, and I use this analogy. As far as learning curves, if you are a doctor and you amputate, or a surgeon, and you amputate the wrong leg, is there a learning curve? Do you get a pass for that? You do not get a pass. Teachers don't get passes. I need someone who's going to hit the ground running, period. I trust that we have educated people in our county that can do the job as well. And also, I think it discourages young people, like my son told me a couple of weeks ago, that he wasn't voting. And I was saying, oh, we vote in this house, regardless of even if we have a civil war, we vote in this house. But we are discouraging young children or young men that we need, who have fresh ideas and new ideas. And I think term limits are important. And just based on the special interests, it gives an opportunity for younger children, or well, I keep calling them a child, but younger adults to run. And I'm going to leave it there because I have a whole lot more to say, but I only have 15 seconds. So thank you guys for listening. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for coming.
My name is Angela Holmes. I'm the current president of the Prince George's County Civic Federation, and that encompasses the entire county of Prince George's. Our goal, since I've been in office January of this year, has not necessarily been in opposition of anything, and don't get me wrong, I don't agree with Question J, but I do it through education. Everyone got a ballot this week of a sample ballot of what's going to be on the ballot. That ballot doesn't tell you how J, F, and all the other ones are going to change the charter. I sent out, probably 3 weeks ago, a document that explained the legislation behind it, who drafted it, and how it would affect your charter. So, from the Federation, we want your citizens to be educated when they go in that poll. Don't want to see that slate in their hands when they go in that poll. You know what I'm talking about. So, take the time to look up each one of these questions, particularly J, and see how it's going to affect the charter. We have to get all ages to understand the charter runs our county. And if you're not understanding how what seems to them simple changes, but to us are major changes, how can you vote? That's been my question. How can you go in that booth and vote if you don't understand what it is? We've had a lot of advocates say, don't vote for this reason. But why don't you find out what they're basing that reason on? We haven't done that. And I think that when myself and Ms. Cavett stood in front of the county council on that sneaky day of July 23rd, when it was said that this was going to be placed on the ballot, and I expressed to them a survey had been put out, and the citizens coming to the Federation said, we do not want it, nor do we like it. And that's still our stance. We do not like it, nor do we want it, but I want you to be an educated community going forward. It's great to say no, but know why you're saying no. So from the Federation, we're hoping and praying that you get out there, share the idea and concept of educating each voter, and you know what? Take someone to the poll with you. don't just go by yourself. And if you feel the need to voice your opinion, because what I'm finding is a lot of people don't want to say anything for the fear of the repercussions for saying something. So, from the Federation, thank you.
I'd like to give everyone a hand who did present a statement. Thank you so much for coming. Please consider joining the League of Women Voters. We also have voters' guides on the table for you to take with you, and you can take a supply to hand out to your friends and community persons. We would like you to consider joining the League because we are an organization both of men and women are welcome to join. Actually, 94 years ago, on February 14th, 1920, pioneering suffrage, Carrie Chapman Catt, one of my famous people, one of my favorite people, founded the League of Women Voters to help ensure that all Americans were given equal access to the ballot box. Within just a few months after she made that statement, Congress ratified the 19th Amendment, which guaranteed women the right to vote. But the League of Women Voters, our work was not yet done, and it is still not done today. Chapman Catt founded the League upon the belief that everybody counts. In our nation's democracy, that is why today the League of Women Voters refuses to remain silent. As voters across this country, men and women, young and old, rich and poor alike, are experiencing grave barriers to their right to vote. In the words of League President Elizabeth McNamara, today's barriers to the ballot box may look different than they did when the League was founded 94 years ago, but they remain threats to our democracy all the same. Present-day voter suppression measures were bolstered last summer when our dear United States Supreme Court in Shelby versus Holder basically gutted a key provision of the pivotal Voting Rights Act of 1965. Following the Supreme Court's decision, the nation has been a wave of changes to election laws at both the state and local levels. The right to vote is something that should be taken seriously. Remember, people fought and died so you could have the right to vote. Get involved, get up, learn the issues, be informed, then get out and please exercise your right to vote. Voting is not a spectator sport. Thank you.